All right, well, welcome everybody to Epperson Music, and this is a new thing we're starting. It's called Epperson's Unplugged, and we're going to do it every fourth Sunday. It's totally unplugged, totally acoustic, and so it's our inaugural event. And today we have with us cousin Jimbo.
Howdy, folks.
And I've got a few questions for you, and then we'll let you guys get to the music.
All right, well, thanks for having us first.
Okay.
I'd like to really appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Appreciate it, It's really exciting.
Where did the name originate?
The name?
Yeah.
All right, well, the name Cousin Jimbo is something that I took a lot of time thinking about it. Nomenclature is really kind of tricky business, naming things in art and in science. At first, I'm James, that's my government name, but nobody calls me that unless, of course, they're reading it on a piece of paper for the first time. So Jim is what I've gone by, and lots of folks have called me Jimbo over the years. When it came to coming up with a name for the music that I do, I was thinking hard about, well, I want to have a name that kind of speaks to what I do and who I am. No one else named me that. I came up with it, and like when I was a really little kid, really young, learning how to talk, I used to call my Uncle Jim Okadim. And I thought, oh, maybe I can just go back to that. But then if someone sees the name Okadim, they might not, know what it is or be able to relate to it in a way. So then I got to thinking of the giants of American folk music, folks like Uncle Dave Macon, Grandpa Jones, Mother Maybelle Carter. These folks up in the pantheon of music are big names. And they all have something in common, that they're family names. Mm-hmm. And I'm like not going to make my way up into that, hierarchy of the family. I'm more... I'm more like an everyday kind of person. I'm more like a cousin, We're on the same level. We can relate to one another. Our cousins are our first best friends.
Right on.
They're family. And so I got to thinking, well, cousin, that kind of works. I don't know of any musicians with the name cousin in front. So Cousin Jimbo, and since then it just kind of stuck, kind of grew.
Oh, cool. Yeah. And when did you first pick up the banjo?
That's a really good question. I had to call up a friend of mine just yesterday evening, last night. I called my friend Josh Ellis. He lives out there in Marysville, just down Highway 20 a spell, We grew up together out in the Sacramento area, and we got a house together. We were roommates, and I called him up and I'm like, dude, when did we move into that house on 25th Street in Midtown Sacramento? Because I remember years and years just picking tunes on the porch. But I can't remember when it was, and I looked in calendars online and stuff like what were some important dates, just trying to look at the calendars, to see when one Saturday might have been or whatnot. Turns out that we moved into that house like late 96, early 97, something like that. And so I'd already been playing banjo for a little while before that. There were a few years of just picking tunes in the backyard there, so I had to do a little bit of backtracking. And it was around the year 2000. When that movie Oh Brother came out, Oh Brother Where Art Thou?
Oh yeah.
And I realized I'd been already picking for a couple years. So as I went backwards, I'd have to say probably maybe 96-ish was when I first started picking a banjo.
And so American folk, is that what got you into the American folk music genre?
Oh, well, now that's a whole nother story on its own. Well before I, was picking a banjo or anything like that, I used to play bass in a punk rock band, and I was inspired to play bass by a fellow by the name of Les Claypool out of the Bay Area, a really talented bassist. I had seen him perform quite a few times. There was a band out, I think, the Petaluma Santa Rosa area by the name of Victims Family. The bass player in that band was really inspiring. There's a Canadian punk rock band out in Canada by the name of No Means No that also had a really unique bass styling. And I was like, you know what, I want to play music. I want to learn how to play the bass. So I started there. I was playing tunes for a while, got into a band, and really had fun playing punk rock music. Then I got kicked out of the band. I'm kind of stubborn, I know. So I was like, well, I want to do something different. I want to do something that's not something everyone else does. And guitar players are everywhere. So what can I do? And at this time in life, I was working at a record store out in Sacramento. And I was sifting through the bins one afternoon. And, I had I think my hair was green at the time. I can't remember. Maybe it was purple. But anyhow, I'm sifting through the bins. And I come across this very album right here off of Old Homestead Records by the name of Uncle Dave Macon was the artist, and the album's called Keep My Skillet Good and Greasy. I looked at this and I go, huh, I wonder what that sounds like. So I asked the owner, the proprietor of the store, Ed Hartman, could I take this home and give it a listen? Took it home, dusted it off, put it on the turntable, and the first few notes that came off of the A side of this album, what was the tune? It was Keep My Skillet Good and Greasy. I knew right then and there I need to pick a banjo. And so I just started discovering, looking into old-time string band music. I had never really heard about it before. You know, I grew up listening to punk rock, the Ramones and the Dead Kennedys, and just, you know, all kind of stuff that wasn't within the genre that I currently really enjoy. I discovered Uncle Dave Macon, I discovered Gid Tanner and the Skillet Lickers, Charlie Poole and the North Carolina Ramblers, but in a really organic kind of way. I didn't grow up with the music. I had grown up in, I'd come up in a record store, you know, and it was through looking at albums and just sifting through the bins that I found all sorts of tunes and artists that really spoke to me. Earl Johnson and the Clodhoppers, another really fun act. And through then, I started developing my taste. And so, you know, I mentioned earlier old Uncle Dave. Here's an album by Grandpa Jones, a couple by Grandpa Jones as well. And if you want to come get some great albums, be sure to stop by Epperson Music at 301 Main Street on the corner of Main Street and Redwood in Fort Bragg, California. They're open Wednesday through Sunday. No, Wednesday through Monday. Tuesdays are off.
Tuesdays are closed.
And it's Sweet D. That's in the Union Lumber Company store, corner of Redwood and Main, Fort Bragg, California. That's in the North Coast. Remember, Epperson Music for the finest in LPs, musical instruments, and good, wholesome fun.
And we do occasionally have some bluegrass Americana.
Live music.
Yeah, it's great. A lot of people have names for their favorite instruments.
Yes.
Do you have a specific name for your banjo?
I do, and that's a whole nother story. You got a minute?
Yeah.
All right. So, what was Chuck? Do you remember Chuck Berry's guitar's name? Isn't that like Lucille, or is that B.B. King?
That's B.B. King's.
Is that B.B. King's? And what about Willie Nelson? Willie Nelson has an instrument. His guitar is Trigger, right? He takes Trigger everywhere he goes, and Trigger gets a seat in the airplane, if I remember. Isn't that right? Doesn't put it in like the storage bin. Doesn't it like get its own seat? I think
buys a ticket for it.
Buys a ticket for it and everything, right? And I guess Willie's still out and about playing. You know, doing the family band. I was lucky enough to see Willie Nelson at the State Fair out in Sacramento some years back. Saw some really good acts there. Weird Al Yankovic was a lot of fun to see out there too. But yes, to get back to your question at hand, my banjo does in fact have a name. This here is Clarabelle. Clarabelle's an open back Fralin banjo, and Clarabelle's got a sister. Tiene una hermana, you know, a sister. Clarabelle's sister has a resonator on the back, and Clarabelle's sister is named Annabelle. Clarabelle and Annabelle, they've got a lot of cousins, a bunch of primas as well, you know? Like their prima Dixie Belle es una guitarra. Their prima Jezebel es un violín. Their prima Amanda, here's Amanda right here. Amanda, a mandolin.
A mandolin.
Es un mandolin. And their otra prima, their other cousin, the ukulele that I've got, her name's Luluba. Se llama Luluba. So yeah, my instruments do have names. Indeed they do. They're very personal, very, you know, they got near and dear spots to my heart.
Right on. So we're I know we're going to hear some music from you today, but just wondering if you want to let folks know if any projects coming up in the future that you just want to throw out there and plug while you got a chance?
Yeah, for sure. First thing that comes to mind is Woody Guthrie's American Song. There's going to be a revival of Woody Guthrie's American Song this summer at the Mendocino Theatre Company, right there at the MAC. On, when is that?
In
it's
August.
right there on Little Lake.
August. Yeah.
August 7th through like the 27th. There's a 3-week run. We're doing 5 nights a week, I think it is. 4 nights a week plus a matinee on Sunday. So Wednesday through Saturday there will be evening show, an evening performance, and then Sunday there will be a matinee performance as well. Also, it was through last season's Woody Guthrie's American Song that I actually got acquainted with a whole bunch of local musicians here in town. The Millers, for example, the Miller family, the Burnaz, and in just a few moments we'll bring up David Alden. He's going to be joining me on the on this performance, on this presentation today. David was the band director in Woody Guthrie's show last summer, and he'll be directing the band again this summer. David plays guitar. He and I have been picking tunes ever since the show, ever since that fateful spring when I walked down the street and picked a couple tunes at his house as I had answered an ad in, what was it on? I think it was on the listserv, the MCN listserv. And since that show, we've been picking tunes with the Millers and the Burnas, and we go by the name of the Flatwheelers. We're hoping to be playing some square dances and other events here in the local Fort Bragg area, maybe down in Casper, up here. We hope to really bring traditional American music, you know, back out and around more frequently in the community here.
Yeah, that's nice. Nice to build that.
Right?
Yeah, community and music together. Yeah, so you know what? I'm going to turn it over to Cousin Jimbo, and yeah, thanks for being here.
Yeah, well, thanks for having us, Corey.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Remember, folks, that's Epperson Music. 301 Main Street, Suite D, Fort Bragg, California, 95437. For the finest of musical instruments, as well as you can get strings, LPs, all sorts of accoutrement. That's French for stuff, really good stuff. Handmade artisanal wares available here at Epperson Music. 301 Main Street, Fort Bragg, California, 95437. Open Wednesday through Sunday. That's right.
Well,
now.
thank you for that plug.
Yeah, for sure. I'd like to take a moment right now to introduce David Alden. David?
Good evening, folks. How are you? This is not my
Evening.
show, so I'm not going to say anything, except I started playing music in 1962.
And the last
That's my
time,
answer to it. It only took 2 seconds. You gotta understand.
I really enjoyed your set on Friday at the theater where you and Sally opened up for Banjo Dan.
Yeah, I play with my music partner, Sally Graney, and we go by the name of All About Sally, and we had the chance to open up for a music evening at the Mendocino Theatre Company last Friday. Sold out the place. It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. Really, really good times, for sure. Well, I guess it's time we pick a couple tunes.
All right.
How you feeling?
You take it off, I'll chase you around.
All right. Let's see. The song is called "Keep My Skillet Good and Greasy." I'm going downtown, gonna get me a sack of flour. Cook it every hour, keep my skillet good and greasy all the time. Keep my skillet good and greasy all thank you for joining me here
That's all
today.
right. I know I got every chord right. Not in the right order, but they're all in there.
They're in there.
The thing about string music is that's all that counts. Is get the right chords in.
So we're gonna play some Oh Susanna right now, and yeah, all right. Let's get a little pulse going on. Well, I come from Sacramento with this banjo on my knee, and I'm heading for Modesto where my true love for the sea. Going, oh Susanna, don't you weep for me, 'cause I come from Sacramento, got this banjo on my knee. Saw that dear Susanna gal just sitting on a hill singing, oh Susanna, don't you weep for me, 'cause I come from Sacramento with this banjo on my knee. Now hold that G for me for a moment. Este segmento del concierto se está presentando por Epperson Music. Para encontrar los mejores instrumentos musicales, los discos y otras cosas, vengan a comprar en Epperson Music. Está ubicado en 301 Main Street, Fort Bragg, Salón D. Gracias, Cory, por invitarme. Recuerden, Epperson Music para el mejor en música, instrumentos. Eins, zwei, drei, vier, un, dos, tres, soy de Sacramento con el banjo en la rodilla y yo voy a Modesto para estar con mi querida. Órale, Susana, no llores, vida mía, yo soy de Sacramento con este banjo en la rodilla. Don't you cry for me, 'cause I come from Sacramento with this banjo on my knee, banjo on my knee, with this banjo on my banjo on my banjo on my knee. Cheers, 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 cheers. Hey, see, I remembered the fourth song that we were going to be
Good.
playing today, and we'll play that one after this one,
Okay.
right?
You'll tell me then.
Yes.
Sooner or later.
I
Okay.
will, I will. If I don't tell you sooner, then I'll tell you later.
Okay.
All right? This next tune we're going to pick for you is Henry Clay. Henry Clay worked something like that, 1870s, I think it was written.
by that thing. I can't tell you, since I'm kind of behind you, how glad I am you weren't doing the mule song.
Right. Oh, that mule bucks. It's a bucking mule. We were rehearsing, yesterday. We practiced for the first time yesterday. No, I'm just kidding. But my doggy was sitting at my feet, and I had to shoo the doggy away. Old Coco was at the feet there, and I was like, "You gotta go, girl. You gotta go. I don't want to get you." It's a fun little tune, though. I really like playing with the banjo and flipping her around and stuff. It's good times. Now, this last tune we're gonna play for everyone, David, is in a similar nomenclature as the song we just played. It's not Grandfather's Clock, but rather, it's a tune by the name of I'm My Own Grandpa. It was written in the 1940s. And the thing about the music that I really love playing is I really have a hard time playing serious, mournful tunes, lamentful tunes. I've kind of got this frenetic energy, really high energy, bubbly, positive, like, wah, kind of,
Playing with him is like trying to stay on a wave on an ice cube.
Here we go. It's called I'm My Own Grandpa. It goes something like this. It goes, I'm my own grandpa. Thank you very much, everybody. No, here we go. You ready?
Ready.
Tricked him. I'm my own grandpa. This made my dad my son-in-law, and that changed my very life. For my daughter was my mother because she was my father's wife. Now to complicate the matters, even though it brought me joy, I soon became the father of a bouncing baby boy. This little baby then became the brother-in-law to dad, and so became my uncle, and it made me kind of sad. For if he was my uncle, well, that also made him brother to that widow's grown-up daughter, who of course is my stepmother. I'm my own grandpa. He's his own grandpa. It sounds funny, I know, but it's really so. Oh, I'm my own grandpa. Wife then had a child who kept him on the run. He became my grandchild, for he was my daughter's son. Now my wife is my mother's mother, and it makes me blue, because even though she is my wife, she's my grandmother too. Now if she is my grandmother, then I'm her grandchild. And every time I think of it, well, it dang near drives me wild. For now, I have become the strangest case you ever saw. As the husband of my grandmother, I am my own grandpa. Oh, I'm my own grandpa. He's his own grandpa. It sounds funny, I know, but it really is so. Thank you all very much for joining us on this fine midwinter afternoon. Go Go Niners! Root, root, root for the home team, and if they don't win, it's a shame. Oh wait, that's hockey. Sorry. I hope they get a hole-in-one at their game today. Remember, Epperson Music, 301 Main Street, Fort Bragg, California, Suite D, 95437, open Wednesday through Monday.
Center for Sports Information. Baseball, not hockey.
Oh, sorry. Peace and chicken grease. Adios, y'all.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you very much. Thank you, David.